The Madden series is almost eternal at this point, with EA delivering a new title every single year for better or worse. Now, coming off an NFL licenseless Madden 64 in 1997 on the Nintendo 64, EA was back with their next iteration in 1998 for the PlayStation, PC, and for the topic of discussion today, the Nintendo 64 with Madden NFL 99. But how does this game stack up, and is it still worth playing today? Well, that's what we're here to talk about. Danny from the Famicast here. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. Sound off in the comments below, and we may read your comment out on our bi-weekly show called the Famicast. At any rate, in today's video, we're taking a look at Madden NFL 99 in this retro sports review. Madden 99 released in September 1998 on the N64 and is a follow-up to, obviously, 1997's Madden 64. Now, this was the first NFL licensed game from EA on the platform. There's several modes here on offer too. So, of course, you have basics like exhibition, season, custom season, tournament, fantasy draft, and practice. And you also have franchise, which is probably the biggest addition in this game. Now, this was actually a first for the Madden series, and it gave players the ability to control all aspects of the game, both on and off the field. You can sign players, decide contracts, hit up amazing prospects in the draft. I mean, there are really just a ton of things to do. Now, at the time, I was completely blown away by this mode. Now, my older brother and I played the hell out of this mode and had a ton of fun with it, and I honestly think that there's still some fun to be had here these days too. Now, of course, things are a bit dated by today's standards, but I think it's interesting to see the humble beginnings of this mode and kind of like compare it to see how it kind of evolved over time. Now, if you want to hear more of my thoughts on the franchise mode, be sure to check out our written version of this review. I kind of go into it a little bit more depth there, so be sure to check that out. You can find it in the description box below. Now, being a sports game, Madden 99 is going to be eating up a lot of space on your controller pack. Now, if you're playing on original hardware, kind of like what I am, and you're looking to save your progress, you will definitely need one of these things. Now, just in case you forgot, the standard N64 controller pack can hold up to 123 pages, which actually equates to about 32 kilobytes of data. So here are the data requirements for Madden 99. Now, for just the season, you're going to need to have 107 pages available. For franchise, you're going to have 123. Fantasy draft, you need 107. Tournaments, you need 107. For user profile, you need 6 here. And then for the game settings, you're going to need 2. So yeah, you might have to have multiple memory cards for that. So. Now, gameplay here remains largely unchanged from Madden 64. However, I think the biggest difference here has to do with the running game. So in this game, EA introduced this juke function that could be performed with the press of the Z button. And in my opinion, it completely changed the running game for the better. Now, at the same time, the passing game seems to have taken a bit of a step back in this year's version. I think this default zoomed-in camera definitely makes the game a bit harder to play, at least when it comes to passing. I mean, it's more difficult to locate receivers, or even if you're running the ball, it's more difficult to see defenders coming off the edge. Now, this can be changed. I mean, there are options. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But passing here still seems to be a little bit difficult to perform this time around. Honestly, though, I found that it was just more fun to run the ball. And defensively, there really isn't much different, at least nothing major that I noticed. The AI actually seems to be a bit better than Madden 64, but don't expect to get your socks knocked off here. Now, feeling the pressure from the competition, namely NFL Blitz at the time, EA actually opted to include an arcade and a one-button mode for controls in an attempt to kind of appeal to a more casual crowd of football fans. Now, this wasn't the main focus here, though. Now, even before the game released, in an IGN interview with EA producer Steve Sims back in 1998, EA clearly had some pretty interesting things to say regarding the competition. Sims actually went on to say, quote, "We see all newcomers the same, with a bit of paranoia. It keeps us hungry." Now, specifically regarding Blitz and other arcade sports titles, Sims went on to say this: "We think people who want a real football game, that's real football, 11 on 11, are going to buy Madden. But if you look at NBA Jam, it was a 2-year phenomenon. It was new. It was novel. It really took the champion, EA's offering. NBA Jam took a piece of the market share, but then it disappeared. And I'm not sure what the long-term viability of that market is." Now, kind of echoing just the comments that Sims made here, I think this is kind of prevalent, kind of like the direction they wanted to go with this game. Yes, there is an arcade mode in this game. Yes, there is this one-button mode. But these definitely seem kind of like just something that were put in just to appeal to potential NFL Blitz fans or something like that. Actually sitting down and playing the arcade mode and playing the one-button mode, I mean, it is a little bit different, but it's by and large the same. Arcade mode, it seemed like there were like bigger hits, or it seemed like you fumbled the ball an awful lot. And with the one button mode, I mean, it was easy to play. I mean, you're literally just pressing like the A button to perform things. But at the same time, I mean, you're relying on the AI to make passes. So like if you're pressing the button way too fast when your quarterback's dropping back, he's probably going to make a bad pass. And I had that happen several times. So yeah, it was an interesting thing for them to try out, but it definitely wasn't the focus here. They were definitely focused on making true simulation football, and I think they did a pretty good job on that on the gameplay front. Now, visually, Madden 99 actually made quite a jump from Madden 64. I mean, of course, the addition of the NFL license makes for just a more authentic experience overall. Now, not only that, but the high-res graphics made the game look sharper overall here, too. Now, there's some really nice touches that might go unnoticed by most. So, I mean, uniforms get dirtier throughout the course of rainy or snowy games. In cold weather games, you can see the breath of players, coming out and stuff like that. Players even track the ball as it's up in the air, or when they're waiting for the quarterback to snap the ball, you'll sometimes see, like, head turns and stuff like that. I mean, these are the kind of things that we take for granted these days, but I mean, for a game from 1998, this is pretty much unheard of and actually pretty amazing. Now, other improvements have been made in the realm of animations. I mean, sure, things in Madden 64 were fine, but things are a little bit more realistic in 99. Now, on-field players will occasionally perform wrap-up tackles on different parts of their opponent's bodies. Defenders will point to the players around on the field on offense. Players will even struggle to get up from tackles from time to time. I mean, the game also runs pretty smoothly throughout the experience here, too, so that's pretty nice. Now, just as a bit of an aside, although we are taking a look at the N64 version of Madden 99, I always find it interesting to see how the game looked and performed on rival platforms, and in this case, the PlayStation. So for Madden fans on PlayStation, this marked the first time that a fully 3D Madden was available on that platform. Now, as you can see from the footage here, while it doesn't look bad, the PlayStation version definitely looks a bit inferior to the N64 version in terms of graphical fidelity. So I'll just be running these clips here throughout. Now, the default camera of the game gets players up close to the action. Now, a little bit too close in my opinion. Now, with the camera being so zoomed in, it can be really difficult to quickly check the field for defenders while on offense. I think that was my biggest issue here. Now, this always made the passing game a bit more difficult for me, and like I said earlier, I found that switching the camera to the classic Madden camera made things a lot easier to see. Now, sound in Madden 99 on the N64 may be one of the game's biggest weak points. I mean, it does feature commentary from Pat Summerall and John Madden, but it seems like there's just less than what was actually on offer in Madden 64. Now, it seems like the focus here for the N64 version definitely went into the visuals, which left the audio kind of in the gutter here. Now, when compared to the PlayStation version of the game, though, I mean, things do look vastly superior, but I mean, character models aren't as jagged, all that type of stuff, but, like I said, with the sound and even sound effects, stuff like that, it just can't really compete with the CD-based medium. Now, Madden 99 on the N64 is a technologically better game than its predecessor. The overall game is deeper, mainly thanks to the inclusion of franchise, and the enhanced visuals really made the game stand out. Gameplay additions like the juke were amazing. However, I felt that, on a whole, the game felt a little bit unbalanced offensively. Namely because the passing was just a little bit off here. Now, the sparse commentary here, lack of, or at least decrease in the end zone celebrations, and even an opening cinematic were a bit disappointing here, because there's absolutely no opening cinematic in the N64 version. I mean, even with these kind of stupid gripes here, I think Madden 99 is still a solid enough game that you could pick up and actually have some fun with, and it could be had for pocket change, so you really can't go wrong there. As always, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you like what you see, please feel free to drop this video a like. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe. We've got tons of podcasts, video reviews, looks at retro sports content just like this, and a whole lot more. Again, this is Danny from the Famicast. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.
Touchdown 49ers.